Okay, new day, recharged. Oh man, I hit a wall last night, but I was telling the Jill story about flying and that whole thing, and as it turned out, I tried to tack on the end that I had the microphone away from me, and so all I needed was like 5 minutes to redo with all the photos, and I ended up taping over the whole thing, and and I was just so literally exhausted from telling the story, because I got laughing so hard, and memories just kept popping up, and when I remembered, see, I won't be able to replicate how the reactions, but I forgot I tried to write this stupid song, and when I remembered that, I just busted out, and it was probably funny to hear, but then God works for a reason, and he's incorporated that he lets me know when I'm laughing too much and having too good of a time, but I get that snort going, and and so the bad good of the snort is that I have to edit them out. That'll take 3 weeks, but at least they're easily identifiable to clip out. But oh my God, they're like ingrown toenails after every time I bust out. Anyway, and I'll try not to just minimize my editing, but some of this stuff is so funny. Anyway, I wanted to talk about the transfer from Michigan to CTL, but then I thought, well, no, I should talk about how I got into Michigan. It's like, well, now I got to go back about sailing and all this, so here's another 5-minute intro. So when I finally found the apartment in Chicago, 1653 North Halsted, this right here, and now this whole area is completely different. Because when I was there, this was run down. This is Sam's liquor store, wine store. That was abandoned, and it was a perfect building to rebuild and renovate because I was just into that. But I guess the pigeon droppings on the top floor, the guano was 3 feet deep, and then they ended up, Sam's is down this way, but you got north, and I didn't even think about this. Go to the Wayback Machine. 99's only as far back. But yeah, this whole area, when I was there, this is the Royal George Theater. That was under construction when I lived here at the Groundstone. Oh, hold on. So yeah, this was my apartment, 3rd floor. It went back, that's the hallway. So the apartment was from here forward. It was $325 a month back then. And this was 85 I got it. Pat Heher was the landlord. She had homemade hooch. Good old Polish gal. And she had a little apartment building or separate annex back here. When I first moved in, I didn't have power because the guy before me, for whatever reason, poured a bag of cement in the drain and clogged the drain so the shower just dribbled out. It was just water, and I had to go down to the utilities department to prove I wasn't this guy because he fouled up all the utilities in it. And then I didn't have electricity for about 3 months. Well, not 3 months. Probably a month. So I had to run an extension cord to the neighbor. Met my neighbor. I don't know her name, but I mean, I did. I don't remember it now. But I knocked at her door carrying a little coffee cup. I said, "Can I borrow a cup of electricity?" Because I didn't have any power for about a month. So I had to run an extension cord into my apartment, and I was getting out resumes. And I mean, it was kind of fun because I kind of like the, take it on, challenge me. But when I moved in, I left this window open. I came back, a pigeon flew in and then lost its mind and just crapped all over the place. It smacked into the window. Then I unloaded all my boxes that I had in storage with those friends, Steve and Imogene. One of their families had a farm in Ohio, and I went over and picked all that stuff up. I brought back, there was a field mouse in the bottom of the box. It did a flying Walenda, but it was okay, PETA. Just relax. Mice were meant to fly. It actually had a picture of the mouse. I know that's probably gone. But anyway, So yeah, this was the building. Out here was all the parking, but the thing is, on Friday and Saturday night, this was all the valet parking for a little highfalutin restaurant somewhere around here. Might have been here, I don't know. And every now and then, a car would have a window busted out. But the car was, I noticed that the car was always here. And it turned out, I think it was obviously that's not the restaurant, because it turned out to be a guy that was in one of these two units that was shooting out the windows with a BB gun because he got ticked off he didn't have any place to park. And yeah, Chicago parking sucked, but I usually parked right around the corner and had a good spot. But yeah, when I one time parked along here and they shot out the bug window, it's like, come on, this is a defenseless beetle that's limped its way from Houston. You don't need to put it down for the count. It's retired. Okay, I mean, this wasn't here. Oh, the great thing, right down the street, Halston Mines and, no, Goldman, whatever. There are two blues places within walking distance. Kingston Mines and, oh, God, and that's where I fell in love with blues. Oh, my God. Went down there and, oh, I got stuff. Oh, I remembered it right before I was Googling it. Coco Taylor. I went down and I saw Coco Taylor sat next to her when she still had her original teeth. And, oh, man, that was great. Anyway, so I'd go down, we'll just walk down by myself. That's the only time I went to a bar by myself. But I was so insecure I put a bandage on my wrist. Not that people can't, I'm just insecure and needed coverage. So I had the tweed hat and a bandage on my wrist to, I don't know, insecure. You think? So yeah, this was kind of cool. But all this was under construction. And they were pile driving and jackhammering and knocked pictures off the wall. And so that's where I took a bunch of rebar, some old rusty rebar. And I'll show you the pictures, but I made a bookcase out of them. So the guy who says he never steals anything, I think we're up to 3. But they're rusty. You don't use rusty rebars in construction. You're not supposed to. I'm a cement guy. I know these things. So yeah, 1653 Halstead. And the thing is, when, so this area was turning over at the time. Pat Heher ended up selling the building, and the new landlord was this yuppie, obnoxious young, like a Wall Street yuppie little thing. He jacked the rent from $325. I don't know what I would have been paying, but the gal that on the first floor in the back, she had a daycare thing going on, and hers went from $325 to over $700 or $800, and she had to move out. So this jag, I'll leave it at that, came in and just boosted the rent. So, I mean, it worked out that I was already leaving, but this is in that back alleyway right here. When I was moving to Ann Arbor, see, there's my racquetball floor, my grill, and stereo cabinet, and drafting stuff. But this is a halfway decent. So this is just packed full of crap because the apartment I ended up getting at Michigan, my brother's wife's brother, Jim, my brother-in-law, I guess, ended up going to Michigan too. So he was my roommate freshman year, first semester grad school. He was going back to grad school. And he had worked for Amico, and I'd worked at Marathon, so we had okay, and then we had Patty and Alan to yak about, and so that kind of worked out kind of neat. But then we had to get a roommate because we just had to. But anyway, so that's loading up. But before I left there, I just wanted a quick... So I got in a GTI. This is the red GTI. Great car, but I don't have any more pictures of it. But the job I ended up taking turned out to be this crappy... They did a bait and switch on me with sign up, and then they slung me out to a field office and put me in charge of overseeing construction, I was a $9,000 a month consultant for the city of Evanston water department, and way over my head. it was just a bad news. I mean, that wasn't what I signed up for. It was miserable. You know, the job's not the right job when you just want to hit every stoplight on the way to your job site. And the guy that ended up replacing me, he came up to Evanston with the same guy that dumped me off unexpected. And we went out to lunch, and I was supposed to train this guy that afternoon about what to do. And the guy had just gotten off the plane from Ireland and had no idea that this was part of the job he had accepted. So from one baton to the next, that was terrible. So yeah, the guy that I replaced was the partners of the group. Is Albert Burdick and Housen is one of the partners' sons, who was just this goofball. And he had Playboys in the desk drawer here. And he didn't have any field notes. And he was competent as far as knowledge, but, administrate whatever. But then I replace him. I, have some knowledge, but not about new concrete construction. And it was a new standpipe, which is a water tank, and steel fabrication, which I had no background. I didn't have a design experience from water tanks and stuff. So to oversee the installation of that was kind of silly. And had a contractor that was just working me over. Did a cold pour in winter one time, and he just looks at me and goes, you think that's flowable enough? I go, I don't know. He goes, you think we should add some water? I go, well, if it makes it easier for you. And I should have known better, but the guy's just working me over. Well, we'll put in some water if you want. I said, well, whatever's easier for you. I was so insecure. Anyway. So the worst part of the job was hold on. So part of that job, they were putting in new water lines for the city of Evanston. That's where I'm at. What's funny is I ended up living here 4 years later, right on Grant. But, at the time, I didn't know, but anyway, so they're putting a new water line from here to here, and I was the project supervisor, or what, one of those gray areas between responsible and authority and whatever. So, and I was supposed to, City of Evanston's paying the company $9,000 a month for my services. Go figure. So it ends up, the bid goes out to this Italian contractor firm, Mola, and they shut down the water here one day. They just ran me all over. They had me working the roadside, and they just had me because I'm trying to just appease to get the job done any way I can, and these guys are just taking advantage of this green dumb engineer on the job. And one day it was in the spring, and they trenched this all up, and the street was torn up, and they shut off the water, and all of a sudden, this was a salon, and this woman comes screaming out, "What are you guys doing? You can't shut off the water!" And she's getting off. This is a black neighborhood. And she goes, "You can't shut off the water. It's too late." And I didn't know. I couldn't do anything. and they shut off the water. And I guess when you give someone a permanent in their hair, that you leave the bleach in or those chemicals in too long, that it just burns the hair. And all of a sudden, about an hour later, this poor woman comes out, and she's got flame orange hair that, without being able to rinse it out, burned her hair. And I don't know if that ever became an incident, but oh my God, it was horrible. But I had to probably just run over here and stop laughing so they didn't see me. But oh, look, in hindsight, it looked funny, but it was traumatic. It was horrible. And they ended up, go a little bit closer. So they had a trench along the street to put in this, I don't know, what is it? I'm guessing 6-inch water height. There's a water line, and they have to test it for the fire hydrants and stuff. And they dug this trench, and they used crappy backfill from there was a project in Northwestern going on at the time for the library. So all the garbage they were excavating for the new library, this contractor bought that stuff, so the guy didn't have to haul it off. So it probably gave it to him, but they used this crappy, it's got this loam and clay seams, and the dump truck comes in and starts unloading everything, and I have to jump in I don't have to, I did. I'm jumping in the trench to pull out these big pockets of clay, and oh God, there's like, you can't do, and they're like, it's fine. It's like, okay, I don't want to bother you, and so they end up using this crap backfill. Well, that came back to haunt Mr. Engineer, because one day when I went back, I was crossing over with the GTI from that, backfilled trench, and the front end of my GTI sank down and busted my CV joint. $350? No, that's why we pay you 47 cents a mile, son. That's for everything, not damage. You drive your own car, you can take the train, son. Anyway, so yeah, I dropped my car and broke my CV joint because of my own knuckleheadness. God, I forgot about this stuff. Anyway, so the synapses are kicking in this morning. But anyway, so this job was just terrible because they had a section there, then they had a section in this other neighborhood. And they, to saw cut the street. It was over by Dyke Stadium. Well, what was used to be Dyke Stadium, which that turned out to be kind of weird. Because Dyke Stadium, that, I ended up doing 100% survey of that at CTL. Oh, that was a great job. But the other portion of the pipeline was up here, in this real nice neighborhood with the brick pavers for the road. Knucklehead comes up here with a 48-inch saw and starts dry cutting the street with gravel and stuff flying all over the neighborhood. Big old cloud of dust, and I get over there because the city engineer for Evanston used to work for Albert Burdick-Hausen and got the same treatment that I did, and ended up getting hired by Evanston because of the schlock people that AB&H put on the city of Evanston. So you talk about full circle, we've just got do-loops of full circle going on. So this guy comes screaming up to the job site one time, he goes, "What is going on over on," it started with a W, Woodridge? Woodbine. He goes, "What's going on over at Woodbine?" I don't know. He goes, "Well, you're the engineer. Get over there." And I go over here, and big old cloud of smoke, and this guy's got the headphones on. He's just watching the rig go cut in this 48-inch, with a big old knuckle blade, teeth on the saw cutter. And, God, where's the hose? Why aren't you watering it down? And, oh, God. Anyway, Mola construction. And then the Italy was in the World Cup that year. And these guys are on a deadline to get things done, and they're breaking off in the middle of the afternoon to listen to Ireland, to, what did I say, Ireland? To Italy play on the World Cup. And I think they won that year. I have to double check. That was 86. But, it's just, you know, it was a circus, but I was the one that led it. Anyway, so this job was a nightmare, and that, yeah, we took that guy from Ireland out to one of the restaurants along here, and oh my God, that was devastating for that guy. Talk about absolutely no qualifications for that job. The guy that replaced it, he was really cool about it. He goes, I'm not going to, you know, I'll give you slack personally, but I am not happy that you're here because your company did to me what they're doing to you, and it's unfair. And he's working for Evanston. He goes, we're cutting a check for $9,000 a month for you. I said, I don't blame you. So he was nice to me, but oh my God, that was bad. Anyway, so it was wrapping up at Halstead, but this was the first year I got into racing. And I just wanted to throw these things. So that was the office. And then here's the book cabinet. These are the steel rebars that I stole from next door. So I made this little bookshelf. It was kind of neat. Kind of own design and stuff. So with the rebars, and it's just packed up, you know, for $80 of wood material, stolen material. These were my boat shoes. I don't know if I can go in any closer. But yeah, my boat shoes were, I don't want to say legendary, but they were known because everyone else had these high deck or highfalutin deck shoes and this and that. And it's like, that's all I need. This is my boat bag. And it's like, that's all I need. But then my cassette, I won't go into my 8-track collection from Purdue, but I finally got into cassettes 10 years after they were outdated. But I had an album collection going and probably had 600 at one point. I mean, 900 at further down the road, but probably at this point it was 400. And these are all my World War I airplane books. Oh, so these engineering books, I started an engineering book collection, and this probably doubled in its lifetime. The first apartment I got in when I came back after grad school, I had all these in storage in the basement, and the basement backfilled with raw sewage, and all these things got soaked by raw sewage. It was easily $1,000 worth of books. It was like I had probably a dozen left over from college that I held on to. But I was just into collecting them for more show, you know, kind of living that vicarious look, I'm smart because I have engineering books, even though I probably knew what they were about. I didn't know how to apply the principles. But, yeah, I talk about fate. So, yeah, God took care of those for me. Took care of these, too. Took out a third of them. When I had another apartment 10 years after this, 15 years out of this, after I had a garden apartment, and that apartment flooded. It's just, I've got all these stories. It's great. I don't know what these were, but keep going. So yeah, I do these drawings and just and that I still have. But yeah, I started getting into the blue stuff, Seeger, and this is the other half of the album collection. So that stuff was here, the other half was here. And this is the film, not the way I kept the place. But I had these big old speakers. And, then, yeah, this was important. But phone machine for no one calling, that's important. And then, yeah, this was a little bit later, but say these drawings, and this is when I ran a race at Marathon. I did a 5K run for cystic fibrosis with Steve. This was my cap and gown from Michigan, which I'm now foreshadowing because I'm talking about before I go to Michigan, but I thought these were actually of the downtown Chicago apartment. But I had the same stuff. That's the thing. But, so yeah, 1 of 4 Americans out of 110 in the program, I had to represent. So I put that on my cap. Just being a dork. But yeah, this is my drafting table. I did a million projects from that. Then I wrote, this was a writing effort. And then this, how prophetic was this? This was the Chicago apartment. Had my too tight ski boots in the back that permanently damaged my left toe. But how prophetic is this? I just thought it'd be funny to take a picture of beer cans. And that's war. Why can't we be friends? Wow. There's a lot going on there. I wasn't smart enough to know that or what that meant. And then, oh, that's down the road. That's down the road. That's right. Okay, so this was like a week before my brother came to town. I did one race, and it was a 7-Eleven thing out in Woodstock area. It was, my folks' place was on the way out there, so this was our kitchen for future reference. Because yeah, I've got a drawing and got to point out that's the evil den. And but so I popped by and just said, hey, just want to say, hey, I'm in a bike race and stuff. It was like, okay, just go. But, I mean, this was the setting growing up. This night, Mother sat there, Miles, and Alan was here, and I was over here, and we just stared at each other for 15 years. They go, nope, how's your day? Don't talk about real things. Anyway, what's your haircut look like? Nope, too soon. Oh, well, okay, so first year racing, did the Mac. I don't have a lot of those, but so you do the Mac race, and that was, oh, you made the team, and he said, oh, I made the team the first year, and, you know, this guy's yelling, starboard, we've got right away, no, it's just don't get sailors talking. This was coming out of Michigan City when I was talking about that day with the tsunamis coming into the harbor, and God, is that cool. That's about 15 miles out. So, you little flat earthers, yeah, I'm with you. I'll back you up. Don't want to get into that now, but not doing that. Too soon. That's, okay, that's Laura. We'll just say there's first time for everything. And there's the rebound crew. Yo. There's Herman, there's Heidi, there's Ingrid. They were my family. And they know that. There's Christus. And, he was a good guy. It was like John or Dave or Tom. That was Tom. And then this is Heidi's husband, Jeff. Oh, God, that guy is just a dude. He's the real, what's his name? Macaulay Culkin. What's the, hold on. Macaulay Culkin. I'm cracking myself up. Matthew McConaughey. He'll get a kick out of that if you ever see this. But anyway, I mean, super. These people are stellar. They're just like models. They end up sailing around the world for 3 years. Oh, they'll get their own segment. But yeah, Herman and Ingrid, and oh, they were just, And then that was my house. That was, because I was doing 4-guy, and, you know, for sailing, that operated the 4-guy. You know, if you're sailing, you know what that means, and if you're not, then if I explained it, you still wouldn't know, because I don't know how to explain things. My old beat-up gloves and stuff like that. So, I had a drawing of that. I gave it to Heidi, I think. But, yeah, that was my house for 6 years. Anyway. Then, yeah, that's the way I look. Or a view from my front window. And then, yep. And then here's that Springsteen I painted on glass. It made it up from Houston at this point. And there's my old CE book, and so I made shirts one year for the Mac race, and that's Oscar. Oscar's the cooler that you gotta name your cooler, and so Oscar was my luggage when I went out of town for years. And then what else? Yep, They wanted me for a grinder because I was so strong when I could pull in the... And what's funny is, I'm not trying to, bad knees and so, but I always thought I had my left knee was the bad one. As it turns out, it's my right one giving me a flat tire most of the time. But this was the tiller. It was the year after this, because I know the new one had a big curve in it and back. But at spring training the following year, I was standing on the whatever they're called, the bars. What are they called? The bars at the back of the boat. And I was standing on that, and I lost my grip, and I fell into the cockpit, and I broke this. And the thing is, I mean, it was an expensive fix, but it was a good thing I did because this was dry rotted. And had this thing broken, try convincing Herman of that, but had that broken during a race or during the Mac? I mean, you have to be prepared and have a standby repair tiller and stuff, but no one knows unless you've done a drill or anything. So I do think of that as a quote-unquote godsend, justification, denial type thing. But when I fell on that, Herman was mad, and justifiably so. But I think that happened for a reason, too. And, so, yeah. So I think I had this just because this job was so bad, I even put it on my resume, was the point. So I might as well throw it in there. I don't want it. I'm so embarrassed about this photo because it looks like my leg has But no, the picture's all funky, and I don't know why it colored like that. There's no way if my leg looked like that if I'd be out in public. But this was what you use to pack the spinnaker after it comes down. And so I was downstairs packing the chute, and this is what you pull the chute through and put rubber bands on it. So, and then I was Captain Proton, but that's another thing. And so this Herman's old style and Little Millers and stuff. But so I couldn't pass that up, whatever. But yeah, I had to bulk up for race season because, yeah, I can tell that was mid-season. I was in form. I was at my fighting weight then. Should have seen me before I gained weight. So I had to throw this in for shame's sake. I mean, that's my goofball father. And it's just like he had this other side that he could lighten up. I was probably the only guy that could get him to lighten up a little bit. So he put on the hat, and he could get... But I could never get him over that edge of, as soon as he started to have fun, he'd fall back to just hate me. And it's like, I wish that was my mother's school picture where she taught. But I could never get him over that edge. And he'd always come back and just, I'm supposed to hate you for some reason. So, so I got one time to do, the guy could lighten up a little bit, but never made it past that edge. Here, just try and, come on, Dad, lighten up. See, the little thing on you, and he's just like, oh, God, don't take because I'm an executive at International Harvester, and and look, he's just starting to turn the film. No, that's our living room. We had the pagans, agnostic. My brother's whatever beyond atheist is. Not devil worshiper, but I don't know. But this is when I came back after my first semester and wanted to quit. He goes, you're a quitter. And this lamp, my Nana remarried when she was like in her mid-60s. We're on a vacation out in Colorado at a dude ranch. Because I was into horses and stuff, we went out to a dude ranch in Colorado, and I'm sure that was because of me. They didn't say that, but we were at this dude ranch, and we get a call from Nana, and she goes, by the way, I'm getting married. What? She married Paul Bourne, but Paul Bourne, he he had all these old wallpaper printers, that this was a print for making wallpaper prints from. And so he had all these, and he made lamps out of them. So that's where I got this idea to make all these, you know, if it's old, make a lamp out of it. I had out of Volkswagen parts from an engine I made a lamp out of, and then old plumbing, and old rusty gas can I made a lamp out of. But that's where I got the idea to make a lamp out of something that was, you can throw that out, I can make a lamp out of it. So anyway, so that was 86 to 87. But and then this was Thanksgiving dinner. There's my brother's wife when she was just like, what did I marry into? How prophetic is that? I mean, she's a sweetheart, but she tasted the dark side. Anyway, I'll be back. Oh, and I finally found pictures of the jukebox. I'm not lying. Made the labels for the new one, and this is the '63 Rockola. Worked. Had the bunny hop, and that was great. Can't remember if you had to put. I don't think you had to put a quarter in. If it did, I wouldn't have used it. No. But my broken ski poles. This is Bloodgood. He came down to see me. Things were good. And this was in the kitchen. He came down right after the beach party. He's standing on about a foot of sand after he came back from the beach. Suck it up. You got that college or that post-college beer thing going. And, yeah, I'm getting close to the end. I got to wrap this up. But, yeah, he came down, and we went down to Galveston a few times in the boogie bug. And there's Oscar, and probably a beverage. And so, yeah, I'm just trying to see if the seat was locked down or not. But you'd see no back seat there. I'm trying to see the sunroof. I usually had it open no matter what, but anyway. All right. Yeah, might as well just wrap up Houston. So going back and forward in time. That this was at a Cubs playoff game, and talk about the holy knees and this. And when the Cubs were in the playoffs, we met with the Purdue Alumni Club, and oh my God, was that fun, because ended up being a bunch of guys from Chicago, and we were doing Garfield Goose and Bozo Circus trivia and 69 Cubs trivia. And oh, that was and then we were there with Ron Say and the home run, Mr. Milk, and oh God, that was bad. Oh, that was bad. It was just like, you're up 2-0 and you just can't push your best. Good thing baseball's not fixed. And this was my Australian cowboy. Yeah, that was the cowboy hat I used at the rodeo. And that was Roberta. Jim Collins was trying to fix me up with her. And I went over to her place one afternoon, and I think she had a different idea when I came over. I won't say why, but I came over, and I just wasn't ready for what was going on. So I gotta go. But she was a sweet gal. She was like, and I'm too dumb. Dumb, 'cause she was sweet. She was fun. Look at her. She's fun. You guys could have had fun, and you didn't. You didn't. Oh, God, do I wish I had the past back. 'Cause that's what she... No. Oh, thank God there's editing. So this is my social skills. I'm explaining. This is Jess. I really like Jess, probably more than I should have, because she was dating a guy, and I was kind of like, so are you? Yeah, I am. And I was like, come over to dinner, and she goes, okay, but it's just friends. It's like, okay, and then it's like, oh, that was anyway. But so I'm explaining. I don't know. I gotta skip the picture. I gotta go with something more comfortable. Let's just go with that. The angle of defeat. But I came back for this party. And that was the poster. Anyway, so I came back from offshore, and I'm cooking at this party, and halfway through, people are laughing and stuff, and I thought, oh, I'm being funny. And the thing was, I had been on a tugboat for 2 weeks, and I'm rocking back and forth because I still have that stuff in your head where you think you're on a boat. And so I'm standing in the middle of this garage, rocking back and forth for absolutely no reason. And I'm talking, and people are laughing. It's like I'm thinking I'm funny with what I'm saying. It's like, no, you're just swinging back and forth for no reason. Knucklehead. So, on a serious note, that this guy came back and beat me. Okay, I gotta wrap this up. I'm going. Anyway, so I'm going.
She asked me why. I just went on and told her. She asked me why. I just went on and told her. She asked me why. I just went on and told her. She asked me why. I just went on and told her. That Indian blow the whistle on a fireman, he's ringing the bell. That Indian blow the whistle on a fireman, he's ringing the bell. That Indian blow the whistle on a fireman, he's ringing the bell. That Indian blow the whistle on a fireman, he's ringing the bell. It's bad, you know. She asked me why. I just went on and told her. She asked me why. I just went on and told her. It's bad, you know.